guys, welcome to Thank You, Internet.
The podcast where we talk about the internet and how it's affected everyone's lives, both socially, economically, as well as sometimes interviewing internet celebrities.
As well as just making stupid YouTube jokes. My name's David Spencer.
And I'm Michael Hunter.
And, thank you, Internet. I didn't have a good closer. Like, we worked so hard on that intro, and then just it comes to the very end, and it was just like, is this time for a Rickroll? Is that what happens here?
Just roll the Rickroll!
That when in doubt, and you have nothing funny to say on the internet, just Rickroll them. It's the same thing.
Right? Because that's how our memes work, right? The memes?
So this is episode 2, and actually we do have our very first interview coming on later in the episode. But before we go that, let's just have a little bit of a palate cleanser. Michael Hunter, what have you been up to? Any weird internet things or normal internet? What have you been doing?
Well, ever since our last episode, I've really thought long and hard about the internet.
Ooh.
And
there's a lot of that on the internet. There's a lot of long and hard thinking.
Yes, I think I've at least seen 34 rulers. 34 rule 34.
That was real graceful.
I'm sorry. All right. Well, no, but honestly though, what we were saying last week is very true, and it almost like I wish I would have known about this for last week, but fine, we're going to talk about it now. Smosh, Ian and Anthony, they recently got wax figures from Madame Tussauds.
Yeah, the big international wax museum thing.
Yeah, that's
that's actually there's a lot of people who've never heard of Madame Tussauds, which is fine. It's really only in a couple major cities, but it is a good barometer of fame.
Mm-hmm.
You've made it when there's a wax dude of you that's staring at you all creepy like.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the first time YouTubers have gotten wax figures.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. That's it's Smosh specifically. We could go on a whole rant about Smosh, but I'm going to keep it to a minimum here.
Mm-hmm.
Smosh has revolutionized YouTube specifically.
Yeah.
They, in my opinion, they're Gen 1. They make a lot more money than YouTubers on the internet, like newer YouTubers make. They have created ridiculous content consistently. And now they're at that point where they basically don't have to try as hard anymore because they already have this huge fan base. And it's, it's not that they don't try by any means, but it's, they're making a movie right now. They have, people who write sketches for them, and then they show up to set and act. That's completely different change.
Well, and those are also some of the first guys who figured out how to make a career out of being an internet celebrity, which is something that I don't think anybody 15 years ago would have thought was possible.
Oh, yeah.
In 2002, you're just so you're telling me the kid who makes those stupid web cartoons is going to have money, is going to be able to make a living off of that. But there are a lot of people now. A lot of people, even with YouTube's weird broken model, they're able to make fame and fortune off of other things. Maybe not fortune per se. It's still hard to get filthy rich on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
But, unless you're Nigerian royalty. But,
yeah.
But still, that is, it's worth noting that, we're entering an age where YouTubers have wax figures.
Well, even more so than that, where YouTubers have TV shows, where YouTubers have wax figures, they have entire conventions, entire award ceremonies, like the Webbies. Granted, that's been around for a lot longer, I would think, but the concept is there. The fact that they had a YouTube awards, and had live people, do live performances and a live audience and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes to show that YouTube, in a sense, in itself has revolutionized media.
Yeah.
Content. And with Ian and Anthony, I'm definitely proud to see that they have figures, to be honest.
You should be proud. You've been friends with them for a long time.
Oh yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I'm their best friends. No, oh jeez, no, I wish, man, because I'm telling you, like, they probably have some of the most high-tech sets that you wouldn't even think, like, for a stupid little video, and even then, like, they have their own website. Their website has evolved from just hosting their videos to basically being BuzzFeed, but for Smosh.
Yeah. Well, and then here's the thing also with, like, being able to have a talent in that. It does take a lot of talent to make nothing hilarious, which is what most YouTube is. To be able to, like, those guys have to be extremely quick-witted, and they also have to be very, very business savvy to be able to navigate the waters of making a living off of the internet. It's possible. You just have to be really, really smart. And, like, guys like this deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing.
Oh, heck yes. I completely agree. Especially since you look back at other people who were around the same time, starting up around the same time. I remember there was, like, the other people who were trying to do what Smosh was doing, too, where Smosh... their debut video really was them doing a parody of the Pokemon theme song, where they're, dancing around, being really stupid, spanking each other practically, and then, like, licking a figure of Jesus. You know what I mean? Like, looking back now, it probably wouldn't get famous. But then, it was something that, we craved. People who were on the internet craved.
Well, that's the other thing you have to be good at to know how to make it on the internet, is knowing how to, because the game changes so fast.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like how movies can use kind of the same concept over and over again for a good 5 to 10 years before it gets old. Internet, you have to change what you're doing tomorrow. Otherwise, you're yesterday and nobody cares anymore.
Otherwise, you're TV and
nobody likes TV anymore. Even TV wishes it could be internet, hence Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix, Hulu. Oh yeah, by the way,
speaking of which, Sense 8 is coming out the day we're recording this, and I'm not watching it right now, and I want to watch it. Okay, I just had to get that out. What were you saying?
So our sponsor is the Wachowski brothers. I mean, the Wachowskis.
Whoa! Did you just call them the Wachowski brothers?
I'm so used to that.
You should be ashamed of yourself, Michael, and your family.
The Wachowski brother and sister. How about that?
But yeah, Smosh have figures.
Smosh,
which is pretty cool. You know what, Michael? Maybe one day we'll end up at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum.
But it's really remarkable that people can still at least get a good crowd fan base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they especially nowadays, where right now what's in seems to be music, and it seems to be sketch comedy that's really well done.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why, like, with The Lonely Island doing digital shorts was, probably the most brilliant move SNL has made in a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, well, SNL's digital shorts in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's, or the fact that Key and Peele puts everything on the internet as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I feel like over half their audience comes from people watching just their YouTube videos. I mean, I've never seen an actual episode of their show before, but I watched a buttload of their sketches on YouTube.
That's kind of how it started off with me. It was like I didn't realize it was an actual show until, because I was so used to that format on YouTube. I was like, oh, they release videos every once in a while. It's like, no, these guys do an actual show. Like, it's the same thing with Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee, who is also from Mad TV, the same with Key and Peele. Like, he did his own show, and it didn't get quite as as famous as Key and Peele did, but it's the same thing. I feel like back then they even knew that using the internet was going to be a necessity.
Yes,
and that's I guess what brings me to my point of what's in now, and how people can maintain an audience as well as have funding for it, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
I feel like when we talk to our guest later, we can probably go into that a little bit more. And
because that's a cool thing. Like, just to transition into that, like, Caleb Hyles is somebody who just started getting a following in the last year and is a new guy coming onto the scene. He's got 150,000 subscribers, which is great. It's not the millions that, like, the big guys have, but that is something that's really cool, of, like, getting that perspective of what's it like coming onto the scene now, and what's it like trying to find, because that's something that that for him, he's definitely, like, it's about finding that niche. It's about finding that little pocket. And again, we'll talk a lot more about that in the interview. I shouldn't, like, spoiler alert for my own podcast. Is that a thing?
Well, no. I mean, I feel like if we'll bring it up with him. It's something that we're gonna have to talk about because it is part of his story. But anyways, what about you, David? Enough about Smosh.
Oh yeah. What have I been doing?
Yeah. What have you? Anything that you found?
I've been trying to get caught up on Thrilling Adventure Hour. Okay, for those who don't know, Thrilling Adventure Hour is one of the greatest podcasts ever. It's an audio drama podcast. It's been going on for 10 years. Like, they've got Paul F. Tompkins and Paget Brewster and dozens of other people. In every episode, they have massive guest stars. And I started listening to it, like, a couple months ago, around in, like, February or March, and have just been trying to burn through the whole thing, and then found out recently that they stopped recording live episodes in April, and that it's coming to a close, and now I'm like, damn it, I missed it by like a couple months! And now I will never be able to see live Thrilling Adventure Hour, which makes me very, very sad. That's all I've been up to, being heartbroken about something I will never get to experience.
Well, I mean, that's like anybody who, wanted to see an episode of Friends taped live or something like that. You mean, like...
Or, like, discovered their favorite band 10 years after they broke up.
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, God, yes.
You're just like...
First world problems.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Oh, no, I'm never going to be able to see my favorite band live because they broke up.
I'll just have to buy all their merchandise just to compensate.
And the B-est of the B-sides.
The B-est of the B-sides.
The new Sloshy record.
Oh, yes.
Sorry,
Sloshy.
we just watched the latest Homestar Runner video earlier, and it's still running through my head.
It's it's fantastic.
Slosher.
Sloshy. I have a shirt. I have a Sloshy shirt.
Did I have anything else I wanted to talk about?
I don't know.
I haven't seen Sense8 yet. By the time this episode comes out, which will probably be like a month from now, Sense8, and y'all have seen it a dozen times, and everybody will have seen it, and most people probably will hate it, but I won't. But we'll talk about that when I actually see it. Or I'll have to just, like, make a new Sense8 podcast. That sounds like fun, right? Make a podcast for a streaming show. Anyways.
Well, that's the topic we could always talk about later, too.
It's true.
Just streaming in general.
Oh, that's a whole other thing.
That's a can of
I have a
worms.
lot to say on internet TV.
Mm-hmm.
But we already set up the interview like twice, so no more setup. Here's our interview with Caleb Hyles. Enjoy.
But thick as you are, pay attention! My words are a matter of pride. It's clear from your vacant expression the lights are not all on upstairs. But we're talking kings and succession! Even you can't be caught unawares. So prepare for the chance of a lifetime. Be prepared for sensational news. A shining new era is tiptoeing nearer.
And where do we feature?
Just listen to teacher. I know it sounds shorted, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my dues. And injustice deliciously squared. Be prepared. Yeah, be prepared. We'll be prepared.
All right, so we are here today with our very first interview ever. This is exciting.
I'm super stoked.
With Mr. Caleb Hyles. Caleb, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastically well, and I am super, super happy to be here.
Yeah, you're like our like test for figuring this out, but it's gonna be great. So first of all, tell us who you are, what you do, for anybody who is not familiar.
I most of the time, my main thing I do is make cover songs, especially Disney cover songs, on the YouTubes and record myself singing to it. Sometimes I'll make music videos. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. It's exclusively that for the most part. Yeah.
All on the YouTube.
So, okay, so before we get into the, like, why you do what you do and everything, just because this is a podcast all about internet fandom in general, what's some stuff you like? What are you a fan of, Caleb?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Are we going with like generalizations, or are we gonna get specific?
Anything. Like if there's like YouTube channels you're a fan of, or even just like weird TV shows, or like
stuff that inspires you, basically. What makes you do what you do.
Oh man, I'm a huge fan of theater. So I'll say I'm not like a big theater geek, because I feel like if I say that, someone's gonna be like, "Oh, have you heard of like the new production that came out, like something about Kinky Boots?" Like I haven't. I'm sorry, I haven't listened to Kinky Boots. I don't know what you're like. Something about Neil Patrick Harris was in something. Like I love theater, but I'm not like crazy into it. So theater, I love anime like crazy. I love Japanese cartoons. That's a blast. What else? Love video games. Like I'm like your stereotypical nerd. Like everything about me is like.
You look at your wall in some of the videos you've released, and you've got the posters of all the video games, which I really miss that wall of video game posters. It's
yeah. I've changed locales. I want to try to keep. I people may not know it, but I purposefully position my camera so that there's stuff in the background to look at. Because, I mean, I think people's attention spans are like, this includes me. I'm basing it off of me, not just people who watch my stuff or other stuff. Like, we all have attention spans that are kind of fizzling away ever so slowly due to our society and the media and things like that. So if I give people something to look at while, like, stuff's going on, like, even though just me singing, beyond me singing, like, that's the best. I do it intentionally.
Yeah.
And it's all shot composition.
Well, and
exactly.
that's one of the things, like, I remember when I first met you and saw some of your videos, and I think I sent you a message being like, that looks like the kind of room that I just want to hang out in.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly. Yeah, I want it to be a very, very inviting space to be in and just be like, yo, I'm a normal dude, or I'm a big nerd. Like, there's no pretense about me, and I try to be as transparent with everybody who talks to me and supporters, because I don't want to seem larger than life or, you know, above anybody. And that's what I try to, you have to a certain degree try to do that, because you don't want to come off in a certain way. So you have to make sure you don't do anything that seems that way. And you could say, well, just be yourself, but it's like, it's not that simple, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get you. I mean, you're, in a sense, you know, you're a product. I mean, obviously you're selling yourself, and you know, you have to maintain a specific image, a specific you know.
But the weird thing with the internet is that you get so many more points for being just totally raw and vulnerable in yourself, but at the same time, it's got to be like controlled vulnerability.
Yeah, it's true. That's so very true. Dang.
Well, because you've got a certain image that you've like, how have you kind of landed on that with the type of songs you do, with the way you do your stuff, how have you kind of landed on your niche?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I've never been asked that, so I'm having to think for a second.
Go
niche,
for it.
Like, landed on it. It really, I mean, I was even saying like 30 seconds ago, like, it's, you know, you should just be yourself. It's that simple, but it's not that simple. Like, whenever Mike was saying it's like controlled, like, I am being myself. I'm definitely being myself, but I have to think, like, what do I present to people of my parts of myself? What do I show, and what do I kind of hold back for now? And I'm just trying to concentrate everything into a creative process and an outlet, so it all makes sense. Like, oh, Caleb is this guy. This is exactly who he is, and you can see it right from the get-go. Like, when I'm singing a part in a song, and there's a music interlude. Like, if I feel like dancing, I'm not going to stop myself. I'm just going to, right there, do what I feel like doing, and not think about it beyond that. Just kind of let how I am naturally guide the cover and where it's going.
Yeah, like,
so it's a
like
mix
your
of,
weird dancing in the background for the what was the Tangled song you put up recently?
Yeah, I See the Light.
Yeah, when there was like a minute of no singing and you just kind of like dance through in the background.
Yeah, like I love doing that kind of stuff. Like I don't I don't necessarily act like, or I really need to post some of my super old videos that I did when I was really young. And it would just be, I feel like we were ahead of our time when I was with my friends and we did these really stupid videos, but like it's the stuff that's on Adult Swim now and Adventure Time that's really popular. So I feel like I missed the boat, or I took the boat and sailed off in a direction. Everyone's like, no, you're never going to make anything out of that. That's so stupid. And then someone stole my boat, came back and said, it's such a great idea. And everyone bought it. And now it's too late. I'm watching everyone make all these humorous jokes. And I'm like, I was me. I'm bitter. I can't even enjoy those shows because I feel like they stole my humor.
Well, that's like an entire like portion of the internet that, I mean, we're probably going to have to cover that in a later episode.
That's a whole other day right there.
Oh my God. Anywho, speaking of the internet,
speaking of the internet,
speaking of everything this podcast represents, how did you find yourself to get on the internet? Like, what was your earliest memory of the internet?
Dang, earliest memory. Earliest memory. I was with my friend Tim in 6th grade. This is my earliest memory is not as interesting. I was like playing Oregon Trail, but my earliest funniest memory. Is dial-up, of course. There's dial-up. Mm-hmm. But I was with my friend in 6th grade. We were sitting in my house, in this very room, actually, that I'm in. And we were sitting on this old tube computer, and there was Newgrounds.com. We were on Newgrounds.com. And there was this Sonic versus Vegeta, flash video. Yeah. And our internet was so slow. It took 10 minutes to load, which is, like, really not that long. But nowadays, to load for a flash video, we'd lose it. We didn't even watch it. We wouldn't even bother. Even if it took more than 10 seconds to load that flash video, we're out. Mm-hmm. But we sat and waited for 10 minutes and watched it, and it was like the funniest thing I'd ever seen. But that's like one of my funniest early. I always go back to that because I think about where we are now and how quick the internet is and how our attention spans, like I was saying, just fizzle completely. How I was willing to wait 10 minutes for a stupid minute and a half thing that probably is just it. Maybe megabytes, if that. I was willing to wait for that, and the entire night we just watched flash videos that took anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes to load.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right, yeah.
And we filled up our time with talking about random junk and just being in each other's company. And I think that was, to a certain degree for me, the beauty of the internet. But now it's like, oh man, there's a lot of bad and good with the internet.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's something that you were kind of touching on. I feel like to clarify, it's that sharing experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what makes it. That's what made it, at least back when, like such a unique experience, is because when you're like, I remember watching flash videos myself from Newgrounds, and it wasn't nearly half as fun unless you had someone else there. Or at the very least, it's fun the next day when you're talking about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, did you see the new Happy Tree Friends?
Or just when everybody just starts trying to rickroll each other constantly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
So how is the, like, because such of a large part of it is the audience, is that interaction, which is what I love about internet content, is the direct interaction the audience gets to have with creators. So how is kind of your audience influenced what you do?
Oh man, they've influenced pretty much, to a certain degree, everything. And that actually is really contradictory to a certain degree. It's either everything or it isn't, Caleb. They've influenced a large portion of what I do. Because at the end of the day, you gotta be true to yourself, true to what you're about. But my covers, content I choose, a lot of times is catered more to my audience.
Yeah.
Because now I have an audience that actually is willing to watch. I don't want to just go out and start picking any random band that I just like.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, listen to this. Like, no one's gonna listen to it. They're gonna want to listen to me cover the entire Imagine Dragons album, or like all of Fall Out Boy, or the latest Disney song. That's what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And I want to cater to that because they clearly appreciate that part of my music, and I want to give them that. But I still gotta do stuff that I want to do. But to directly answer the question, yeah, they absolutely have.
Do you feel like that's kind of limited you at all?
Kind of, and yeah, in a way it kind of has, because Kara can tell you, that's my girlfriend, by the way, or my fiance now, but for anyone who didn't know, I was telling her the other day that I just feel a lot of times I have felt more pressure in the last year. First world problems. I have felt more pressure in the last year to perform and do really well than I probably have ever felt in my lifetime. And it really isn't. I just haven't been a person with a lot of responsibility. So when all of a sudden this was handed to me, and it's something I wanted to do, it wasn't something I didn't want to do and I just had to do it because it was necessary to make money or to make a living. I wanted to do this and I wanted to pursue music as a career, so I needed to put in the time and the effort. And I did not realize how much effort and time it was. More than anything, it's the effort and that emotional investment in pleasing everybody. And I'm a people pleaser, I try to be, and you don't realize how much energy that takes from you whenever you're like trying to please everybody. And I mean it's impossible, but that's that's what's happened.
Yeah. So like kind of going back a little bit, like to just kind of your whole story in this. How did you start gaining a following? Like when did that happen? How did you get to where you are, to where you have, where when I show one of my friends one of your videos, they're like, "Oh yeah, my best friend has a crush on that dude."
Oh man.
It's not me, by the way. It's not me. You are very handsome.
Oh,
but
well,
I'm not.
Anyway, I was waiting for after the show. Anyway, what was the rest of the question?
Kara, close your ears.
No. Yeah, she's stuck in MTV world. We're good.
No,
good.
but like, how did you start developing an audience? How did you get to where you are?
Oh man, like for right now with the cover realm, it was Let It Go. Like that's it. Like I really can't even give you, like, oh yeah, I did these things before it that led to Let It Go. Like no, I decided, hey, I want to do Let It Go as a cover. I did it. It went viral, and that's where we are right now.
And I think it's up to like 9 million views.
It's close. I think it's getting there. It's easily. It's always been, my goal has always been to have a handful of videos that at least have the same growth rate as Let It Go does. Not necessarily as viral as Let It Go, but that matches Let It Go on a day-to-day basis. Nothing has yet. The closest thing I've gotten, funny enough, is that Immortals cover that I did on a whim. I did that and I was like, I like this song a lot. I'll do it. It's Disney themed. It's not really what people want, is what I thought. I was like, people really don't want Immortals because it's Fall Out Boy and it's Big Hero 6 and it's not the classics. It's what people don't know. But I was very wrong because it's done extremely well. So I'm very surprised.
It's a really great quality video. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me too much. But did you have any following before Let It Go, or was there like just 5 subscribers to your YouTube channel?
My Caleb Hyles channel, the one that Let It Go is on, had about 1,100 before Let It Go came out, and I had a handful of people that were just like watched what I did. And if you go back, I haven't removed anything. If you go back before Let It Go, it was just this weird amalgamation.
I've gone back. It's quite entertaining.
Of stuff. Like I have vocal covers of me playing Rock Band, like the worst quality possible.
I saw it's just like, he did a cover of Re Your Brains by Jonathan Colton. This is great.
Yeah,
and
like,
then I watched it and I'm like,
what?
This is not what I'm used to when it comes to a Caleb Hyles cover.
That's probably why I didn't get any real attention, is because I had no production values whatsoever. And I didn't care, though. I just wanted to sing, and I hear people who, if there was anyone who would listen to hear what they had to say, that was my best growth that I had. But an interesting thing, jumping from like before the whole Caleb Hyles vocal cover thing, we were talking about prior to the show about, I mentioned my love of anime. I did anime fan dubbing for a long time, and I did this show called Toradora, and I had all of my friends from my hometown come over. And I had a mic stand, and I had, Audacity, and I rewrote the script for the show, or it was translated to English, and then I forgot what the word is. But anyway, I adapted it for English the way I thought it should be for the show. And I had my friends come over and play the parts. I got my parents involved. I got my friends' parents involved because I wanted to be really authentic. And I released that on YouTube, and it eventually got removed, sadly. But it got up to over 1 million views for the entire episode. Wow. And over a span of about a year. And nice. I got a lot of hate and a lot of love for it, but I got my name kind of spread through that. I met a lot of my friends because of that, that I still have today because of that, the fan dub I released with all my people. And so I had a bit of a reputation, I would say, prior to that, but not many people know me beyond Let It Go. But I was very active on the internet and the communities on the internet even before Let It Go happened.
Well, I think that's one of the cool things, like, that I've found in, like, the people that inspire me that are in internet content creators or just anybody we talk to is that anybody who's gained a significant following had something else beforehand that kind of caught fire, but, like, didn't really get to anywhere. And it's like everybody has, like, a couple of things that they tried first before they really hit it and found what everybody likes.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Is just real quick, is voiceover something you are still, like, really invested in? Is that something that you would want to do?
The last voiceover anything I did was for a guy named Amos Susikin.
Hey!
Yeah, David knows what I'm talking about. And I did voices for a children's show.
Oh, you did voices for that?
I did voices for that.
Oh. I actually, because he was reaching out to me and knew I was in, like, a weird place, and he's like, hey, I don't know if you're interested, but you want to try doing some kids' voices?
Yep,
They didn't want me to do it, but I'm glad you got to do it.
So I got that. I mean, I would love to do that. I talked to Daniel Lund, because he was working on a possible, like, overseas Japanese animation project for Disney, and I was like, dude, like, hit me up, because, like, I am all about fan dubbing and whatnot. It's such a hard market to get in doing voiceovers. It's so hard, and honestly, it's really all about who you know. Because am I the best out there? Like, absolutely not. But am I good? Am I good at it? Like, yeah, I'm good. But am I, like, amazing? No. I just got to know the people and find them, and I can get better. But I would love to do it. It's just, you just have to know the right people.
Well, and let's go ahead and talk about, like, this. How I met Caleb was I worked on video with him of when we redid your Let It Go cover into Let Them Come, and that was a production that was directed by a guy named Amos Susikin, who's now he's gonna be a big animation guy 20 years from now. But, like, we had, like, a guy from one of the lead animators from Disney helping out on that, and what was it like getting involved with something like that, of all of a sudden people reaching out to you to collaborate on something? Was that the type of thing that you ever even, like, thought about doing?
I never personally even thought ever that I would be in a music video. I never thought I would be in a music video, and I never thought I would get that kind of attention. And I had people reach out to me, but I never had anyone reach out to me in the way that, is it Amos or Amos? Because
I always heard it Amos.
Amos. I'm going to say Amos from now on.
Well, all I know is when he says your name, it's Caleb.
Caleb and Kata. Like, Kata, like, oh, that's interesting. But Amos no one had ever reached out to me in the way he did, and he just kind of messaged me like, hey, Caleb, I loved your stuff. It was really great. I'd like to talk to you about a possible opportunity. And I said, sure. And most of the time nowadays, I really don't message back to that, because it just ends up being like, I want you to, like, sing this parody song, and I have no one on my channel, like, no subscribers, like, and I love the fact that you thought of me, and I really do appreciate that, but I can't, I have so little of my time now that I really can't divide it amongst things that aren't really going to get me any traction, and that's nothing against them. But anyway, so I took Amos's, like, I was like, sure, yeah, we'll talk on Skype. And then he told me more about what he wanted to do and who he was, and, like, I got this budget, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So, a month later, he sends me the money for a plane ticket, and I go out there, and David's there. He's got all these people who are, like, going to help and produce, and then I'm told, like, oh, Amos is one of his best buds is, like, a pretty big key animator at Disney, and he's going to be there to help out. And when we're on the set, like, Daniel was helping me out and learning some things, and Amos was just right in there with me. It was I really do wish, and that was a moment I told Kara on the way back. I was like, I would love to do that, like for my rest of my life, I would love to do that, because I felt so in my environment with my people when I was on set doing that. Even if I'm not the actor, the person who's in front of the camera, that was just an environment I love being in, and to make a living off of that would be like a dream. Yeah,
it's a tough world out there, but people do it. And actually, if people listen to this, if you check out Caleb's website, he's got a bunch of pictures from that set on there. And,
Yep.
And go
Whole
watch the
behind-the-scenes
video
thing.
too, because Let Them Come was pretty sweet.
It's pretty cool. Like
It's got some cool production value to it, and it's got some great acting. That's another thing that I love about your videos, Caleb, is just like how you're not just singing the songs, but you're actually like acting. Like
you're emotionally invested.
like
in
I think your version of Be Prepared might be one of my favorites that you did, just because there is
thanks.
so much of a performance there. It's
Dang.
wonderful.
Thanks, man. No, I straight up though, that's one of my biggest critiques of almost every single cover artist that exists. Every single one. Like there are only a small amount of people that I remember watching covers who genuinely looked like they enjoyed what they're singing. Genuinely looked like it. Now, I've covered songs that I'm not too hot on, but I'm at least going to try and put forth to where I am invested in singing. I enjoy singing, so I'm going to look like it. Just because you have a pained face when you sing and you're hitting the notes and you're kind of, running with it and your eyebrows are raised, like, people don't buy it. Yeah, you have high production values and you sound great, but like, do I feel it? Do I really feel it? No, I don't really feel it. That's my biggest critique of people is when they sing and make covers, I just don't feel it.
Absolutely.
And that's the only way I know how to sing is to sing with emotion and with power and like meaning it, or at least showing how much I love what I'm doing. And that's not because I want to prove I'm better than everybody else, but that's how I was raised. That's the only way I know how to sing.
Yeah, that's your theater background.
Yeah, that exactly. I was raised around thespians. So I don't know how you can do music and not be emotionally invested, or show it at least. I mean, everyone has their own way of expressing themselves, but sometimes it just reads disingenuous to me. And I've been in that place before, but especially for a lot of these cover artists who are huge and just every cover's just so void of emotion and care, I don't understand why they get the attention they do.
Well, I actually remember talking to Amos when we were like prepping, before I met you, when we were prepping for Let Them Come, and he was talking about how like you sent him a version of the song that was very raw and stuff, and then you sent him a cleaned up version where you hit the notes better, and he was like, no, go back to the other one. That one had so much more like passion and performance behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that clean version. I really liked that clean version. I was like, oh no, I really liked it. Like I did the singer in me came out and I was like, I want to do some new stuff with Let It Go. So I did some different runs and hit different notes, but he's like, nah, go back to like the really like dirty one. I was like, okay, you're right. I'll go back to that one. It fits more with it.
Well, one thing I'll say is, when you compare yourself to the other like cover artists, simply investing in what you're doing and singing and having that emotional journey, really, it makes the difference between having someone actually watch your video and then someone who's just cleaning dishes and listening to music. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
Like people are drawn to look at that when they feel like someone's going through something and it's more than just a recital. It's It definitely draws that eye.
Yeah,
that's a great thought. I do think that I want to be a performer. I don't want to be the guy you put on in the background doing dishes. Do I mind being that? Absolutely not. But do I want to be that person who gets your attention and like you, instead of just watching my videos and listening in the background, like you have an experience when you're listening to my covers. That's what I want. Mm-hmm. I value people who comment about that and tell me their story because they were influenced by a cover I did. They want to tell me something about themselves because they connected with me. And that's what I really want to do.
Awesome. So what's been some of your biggest like surprises and biggest or just things you've been most excited about in your whole career as a YouTube artist?
I'm very one thing I've loved doing is doing these themed week things. Like I'll do a themed week where I do 7 days straight of covers. It's like super hard and very involved and takes a lot of time, but it's so much fun to do because as a viewer, me personally, like anytime I was a kid or adolescence or even now, when as someone would come forth with entertainment that I loved and be like, it's going to happen every day or something like way different than the schedule they normally have, and it's just giving back, I eat that stuff up. So I think what would I want as a viewer and as a supporter. And I was like, well, I'd love a cover every day. So I thought I'll just do a cover every day. And I've done at least 3 themed weeks like that, or at least 2. I'm going to do a third one here in a little bit. But that's been one of my most fun things too. And it's surprising. It is surprising to see how well it did when I did those. I mean, the last one I did was Winter Wrap Up Week. And, you know, I did My Little Pony songs. So there's that. 7 days straight of My Little Pony songs. And that is a fandom that's rabid. And they will commit themselves. So I did 7 days straight of it. And my viewership, my subscribership went through like crazy, like hell and back.
Oh,
but
wow.
my views and the amount of engagement I had was higher than it ever been in like months.
Well,
so doing this back-to-back thing has been really surprising how well it's gone over.
I mean, I remember listening to an interview with Weird Al recently talking about the videos he did for the promotion of Mandatory Fun. And he was just like, yeah, people forget about a video after a day. So it's like I had to post every video every single day to keep the ball rolling.
That's true.
So where would you where are you going now? Like, what do you have in the future, like short term, but also like where would you like to go in the long term?
Man, I would short term. I really would like to get more original music done. I've actually been, funny enough, I'm working with it sounds so businesslike. My dad wrote a bunch of songs when he was younger, and he never got to get them produced. But they're really, really good songs. And I won this Auburn Sings competition at Auburn last year, right after Let It Go happened. And I got a free studio session, like a 5-song EP at our studio based in Auburn. And it's like, I haven't cashed it in yet. So we're working on converting his songs to like more modern sounds and getting my friends who are musicians involved. So I want to have more original music, you know, and that's the short term. The long term would be to make YouTube really my career, you know, something that I can live off of, something I could be even more engaged in. That's what I'm focusing on this summer, is really committing to doing YouTube and making covers fairly often and just seeing how that, and keep looking for opportunities. You know, like if I start getting some traction, I can start contacting people. We can start doing collaborations. You know, like I'd love to come out to LA and use that YouTube space that I can use now because I have 100,000 subscribers. So I can use that space, and I could meet up with people and we could collab, and it would just, that's the kind of stuff I want to do, is make it a career for YouTube. Well, and if anything goes beyond that, yeah,
I love some of the collaborations you've done already with the I can't remember her name, but who did the Google Translate Sings videos.
Yep.
Like
Melinda.
Those are great.
Yeah, we're both kind of in the same place, trying to really gain traction and start an audience. So the thought was like, oh, we'll just all collaborate together because we're all in the same boat, trying to make this a career. We're kind of starting up. We're not huge or anything, but we're going to work together and share each other's names and things like that. So yeah, that was a great idea, and I want to do more of that stuff, but more higher profile. No offense to people I've worked with and will work with, but that's just the next step.
Absolutely. So what would how would your life be different without the internet, without this whole thing?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind is I wouldn't have a fiance right now.
Oh, really?
The one I have. I met her through voice acting. We both got picked to be in an audio drama, and we talked over a Skype call, and I didn't really we've always been really close, really good friends, but I didn't like her in that way until about 2 years ago. When she was like one of the only friends left that talked to me a lot from that group. So we got a lot closer, and she came down, or she had grad school over in South Carolina, and I'm from Alabama. So I was like, well, let's make the trip. So we met halfway and, you know, just hit it off pretty well. So the internet was, that's the relationship I have now is because at the end of the day, it began with the internet.
Wow.
So it's not surprising anymore. Like, to hear, oh, I met my person online. I know, like, a lot of older generations are like, that's a bit weird, but like, not really, not for us, you know, nowadays. It's just the norm. So without the internet, I'd visit the library a lot more often. So I guess there's a plus.
Yeah, I mean, well, because everything is integrated to the internet now, anyways, like Tinder and Match.com and all that, but it's interesting to hear it through like a specific medium, like oh, I met my girlfriend through YouTube, or oh, I met my significant other through voice acting, I guess. And
I had not heard that story before. That's really cool.
Oh man, it was. Well, if you have about 3 hours later, there's a whole like crazy saga behind it, but I won't.
I would love to hear it sometime. Yeah, we don't have to drag it through the internet, but
it's crazy. It's really crazy, but that's the internet. It's completely crazy
awesome.
And awesome.
Thank you, internet.
Thank you, internet.
Thank you.
Are you just gonna try to work in the
thing,
podcast
David.
name in every moment?
It's a thing.
But Michael, you had one more thing you wanted to ask?
Well, it's just a thing that we like to do on our show, where David and I will announce like a video, like a random YouTube video, or something that calls back to like either the early times or just something we've seen recently that we thought was funny. Do you have any sort of video from the internet that you would that you've seen recently or that you can remember that you would want people to watch?
Video pick of the week.
Yeah, video pick of the week. There you go.
Okay, let me think of a really old video that I really, really liked. I mentioned that Vegeta versus Sonic video, but that's that one, and then also like what was that? The End of the World one where they launched the nuke at China,
I haven't thought about that
and we're gonna fire the
forever.
missiles.
Yeah,
That one.
Okay,
everyone go watch that.
Then fire the missiles.
I'm tired.
Go to that one.
Yeah.
Well, take a nap. That's my favorite.
That's
Go to that.
There you go. That's a good one.
Watch more YouTube poop too. Watch more YouTube poop.
Oh,
I
well, that's
encourage
gonna be
everybody.
a topic we're gonna cover, my friend.
YouTube poop scares
Watch
me.
more of that.
It's
my favorite.
Yeah, it's a very. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Oh no, you seem upset
No,
by
I
it.
love it, but it's so many. It's like art. You know what I mean?
There's so much terrible.
There's so much terrible. Like people
There
call it YouTube poop, but really there's only like a good maybe 2 handfuls of people that do it well and do it
That's so true.
artistically.
That's so true.
And
It's
so that's what I
true
mean.
that is.
We'll get into that some other time. I want to see if I can get some of those people on the show and really talk about it.
that'd be tight.
Because it's seriously a side of the internet that a lot of people like. It gets a lot of negative connotation for it because a lot of people don't know how to do it right. Like I don't know. I'm just really passionate about it. That's why I
can
get all
tell.
a little like, YouTube poop. What have you done?
I can tell.
So where can people find what you've got going on? If people aren't familiar with you, where can they find you? Plug your stuff.
All right, time to break out the plug. No, I'm not that guy. I'll save it for my
shameless
minute and a half.
self-promotion.
Yeah, just go to YouTube and type in Caleb Hyles. Type in my name, and you'll get a pretty long list of videos I've done. And I would suggest, if you're brand new and you never heard any of my stuff, or you heard Let It Go, I do encourage you to try to listen to things you hadn't heard before that I've done, and kind of expand. Because one of my calling cards, at least for me, that I feel is doing a variety of music. Like I'll jump from rock to country to metal to pop to musical theater, from one week to the next, because that's what I do. And then Disney, throw that in there. And I really want to challenge people to not stay within their preferred genre and really listen. Like, you have what you like, I understand that, but it's not bad to challenge yourself every now and then and to really enjoy it. I also encourage people to stick around after the videos to hear what I'm talking about and get more, so you can be more involved in what I'm doing, because I really do love to be involved with the fans. And I know it's actually funny, as much as I love it, it's one of the hardest things to do, because I'm having to really schedule my time, and I'm a guy who's terrible at scheduling. So, but I love interacting with fans. And message me if you've never messaged me before. I will message you back. I'm really bad about getting back to people, but yeah, do that. Check out my Patreon if you want to do that. I update that a lot. I give out free downloads. We have Skype calls every week.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Caleb. This has been wonderful.
Dude, absolutely. If you want me on any other time, just ask. And if something crazy goes down, I'll contact y'all and be like, "Yo, I want to talk to y'all about this."
Oh
Put me
yeah,
on.
and then
So,
we'll break some Caleb Hyles news.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, I'll give y'all exclusives if things go down.
The inside scoop of Caleb Hyles.
Ooh. All right. Well, thank you so much, Caleb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you.
I'm struggling to figure out a way to close the interview, but bye.
Thank you, Internet.
Thank you,
Thank you, Internet.
Bye. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Back. A Dinosaur's Tale. That was actually a really good movie. Don Bluth. It was good.
I don't know if it was good. I remember not liking as a kid, but it
scary.
maybe was because the bubble scared me. So.
It was well. The whole film was very
or John
scary.
Goodman. John Goodman probably scared me as well.
John Goodman.
He's a very scary dinosaur.
That's
and
why
a scary man.
That's why they cast him in Monsters Inc. So you know it just makes sense. That and Billy Crystal is also very scary. So I mean he's just a scary Jewish man. And okay, so,
all right.
That was a transition. All right.
So now we're done with movie talk, and now we can talk about the internet again. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll keep our internet closing things tradition going, I guess, our tradition of one other episode. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. We're talking about our favorite YouTube videos.
Yep. So Caleb gave us his. So I guess it's time for ours.
Yeah.
All right. Did you want to go first, or did you want me to?
I can go first.
Go right ahead.
I'm going to talk about a video that I haven't seen in ages, but me and my stepbrother used to quote all the time. It was like early YouTube, and it's just called... Wait, let me just make sure I have it correct.
He's beating around the bush because he actually doesn't know the
title.
No,
I do know the title. I'm just making sure that the title is correct. There it is. If you just look up on YouTube, what am I? What am I? Nope, not that, you piece of garbage. Let me try this again. Yeah, just look up on YouTube, what am I? What am I? Or even just what am I as one. You'll see this amazing video that was posted in the early days of the internet about what happens when two toys come to life, and it is wonderful. And I cannot get enough of that video. It's so simple. It's one of those like simple YouTube sketches that's not like very high production value, but you could tell it was made by somebody who is hilarious. And it's just wonderful and great to quote. Me and my stepbrother all the time would be like, what is box happening? What is happening? What is box happening?
So go watch that video, and
then you can understand the reference that I just made.
Yes, there you go. All right, so that was yours?
Yeah.
Mine...
Do you not agree with me? You think it's funny, right?
Actually do think it's really funny.
You know what? No, I'm done.
You're done? You're... All right. Well, oh, okay, he left. Oh, wait. David, you're crawling through the window. You locked yourself out again. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm back.
All right. Thanks for coming back. And we're back. A Dinosaur's Tale.
You don't need to get back into the episode again. Just tell me your video.
Okay. All right. So, my video it's kind of a cheat, but at the same time, there's no way for me to actually.
Your video is the cheat?
It's not the cheat is not dead, David. The cheat is not dead. The YouTube channel is called Maximus Thor. Okay. You'll know that you're in the right place when every single video is 1111111111111111111, and it's all that every single video of his is labeled 111111111111111, and it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Now, what's beautiful about this show, okay, is that even when it was original, like when they were originally releasing it, it was basically a very simple concept, like what you were saying, David. It's about this little blonde-haired Caucasian boy with a deep black man voice. And it's just him being like this gangster, spouting off everything from just, gibberish to shooting the shit with his friends to even deep philosophical statements and even recipes every once in a while. Now, what's funny is that they've expanded over the years, And what was revealed was that the videos that we were seeing, like randomly, were all part of a greater web series that they have finished filming, or at least they've implied that they finished filming it, and they're releasing different scenes from it. They're releasing different scenes from it out of order, completely out of order. And they're honestly really funny. And the reason why I guess that I'm bringing it up is because there's no way for you to search them without typing in Maximus Thor. It's one of those things that it was supposed to be something that you stumble upon on the internet while you're strolling through videos. And when you find it, it's just heaven. And so I'm trying to help you beeline it towards their videos, because it is fantastic. They have a Patreon. Last time I checked, they had a Kickstarter, and I think they reached their goal, but honestly, it's
Go find it,
because I can't even, I don't want to ruin anything by saying anything. That's
I'm
one of those shows.
I'm gonna watch the first video just because I've never seen this before, because it's only 10 seconds long. All right, this seems like internet to me.
Yep.
Oh wait, is this Yellow Magic, the thing you were talking about?
Yeah, Yellow Magic was the name of their web series, where they were going to have an entire, show depicting on the little boy trying to run a lemonade stand. And if you watch their newer videos, you can see scenes from it. Obviously, they're out of order, and but they're getting to a point where you can kind of put the pieces together. And it's really cool. Like, eventually they're going to release the full episodes, and it's going to connect all the little short videos that they had, and it's going to be beautiful. But until that day comes, it is a shroud of mystery.
Well, I'm going to have to watch all of those tonight. And then, yeah. Maximus Thor, if you're listening, I want to talk to you.
For real, though. Please, Maximus Thor, I would love to have you on the show.
All right. Well, it seems like we're coming to the end of our time together, boys and girls. So, Mike of the Hunter, where can we find anything that you do?
Go and find me on Facebook and Twitter. My Facebook is simply Michael William Hunter. If you search for that, you'll find me instantly. I'm the Ginger Kid. On Twitter, Arctic_Ginger. And you can always help me out by going to my IMDb page and looking me up there. Because, I don't know. I like seeing that little green chart thing go up and be like, you raised in rank.
Hey. You can find me on Twitter as well at David W. Spencer, where I will tweet random things and a lot of movie-related things, a lot of internet-related things, a lot of TV-related things, and in the next 2 weeks, it'll probably be a lot of Sense8-related things. What else? Is there any other thing I have? Like, I did a podcast. I'll plug it later. I don't need to plug it right now. I think I plugged it last week, so we'll bring it back eventually. Ooh, and our show has an email now. I made an email address for us.
Ooh, fancy.
It is... Oh, shoot. Now I gotta remember what it was. Let me look up what our email address is.
This is a good time to tell you about our sponsor. Our sponsor is Los Angeles. Please don't come here. We have no water. And that was it. That's all that they wrote down here. Apparently, we're in a drought. Please, for the love of God, help.
Go away. Okay, you remember that scene in The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt? And the first episode where she offers her a bottle of water and she's like, oh, no, thanks. And then she just throws a bottle of water away in the trash.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's people like that are causing the drought. You can email us at thanksinternetpodcast@gmail.com. Thanksinternetpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us anything. Literally, the very first email we read, I guarantee you it will be read on the show. And if people keep emailing us, I guarantee that we'll be reading more emails on the show because I like talking to people and I like being like validated for all my hard work and effort. Tell us what you think so far. Give us like, hey, here's a cool YouTube thing you should check out, or hey, here's a cool person you should check out, or
if you're a cool person and you want to be interviewed,
hey,
let
you
me
know what? I'm not gonna say no to that. Well, I might if you're like some weirdo who is just like, I collect human penises. There's a documentary about that dude, and apparently it's fascinating, and I need to watch it. A documentary about a dude with a penis museum.
Thank you, Internet.
Oh, thank you, Internet.
Thank you, Internet.
Was that the end? Was that the end of it?